back with the SRC podcast. I'm King, the podcast leader Deuterino and horrible person here in SRC. And someone start talking now. Chrissy.
This is Zextrin here again. I've been here before, so I won't do too much of an introduction. It's just me again. Hey, it's great to be back.
I am Kemi. I am an art person. Yeah, there you go. I've been on before too, so I'm not gonna do a whole introduction. Go.
All right, I'm Tucker, back for the first time since most of the way through the summer, so music team still. Next person.
I'm War, I'm a writer. I've done this once before, so again, on to the next person.
I'm Wally, artist, done this once before. Hi, again.
Alright.
I'm Zumbra, programmer. I've been on all the podcasts.
All of it.
And and I'm Dory, Dogkit. I made this shit, hype, blah blah. Shut up, everybody. Just
You done goofed.
I done goofed like really horribly badly. But yeah, it's me, the door.
It's a me, Dorio.
Oh my god.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Fight. Kiss.
Okay.
So yeah, I think
All
we're
right,
all
so-
a little nervous because we do have a new rule system implemented going on right now where we're really cracking down on interruptions and, passing around CR. So if we're a little off today, that's probably why. But the list of topics we have today are community making in the Ruby fandom, John Hate, sprite making, new episode talk, dance dates, and Pyrrha. Just Pyrrha in general.
So if you like...
Oh, Pyrrha.
If you still like Jean Arc after you've heard our podcast, now is probably another time to stop listening.
Disclaimer.
Different.
Disclaimer. We're all like 98% of us are like angry queers, and we're gonna like shit all over John. I am personally gonna shit in his mouth.
Choke on it. I'm a hetero over here, and I'm still mildly frustrated at him.
That's what I was about to say. The other 2% of us are angry heads.
We have one
Mildly
ambivalent demisexual, but yes.
The angry queers and the mildly disgruntled heteros.
Our token heads.
I'm going to steal CR for the time being because the first topic is actually mine that I introduced. For community making, the thing I was talking about was basically we're making a visual novel, but in addition to the visual novel, we're actually doing more than that. We're producing, for example, these podcasts, right? And some of us are having Cards Against Humanity games, and I think a couple of us are also playing Minecraft, and some of us do live streams of our work. So I just wanted to introduce the idea that we're not just making visual novels, we're introducing a community, which I think is kind of interesting, which is why some of this actually takes a long time. Like, we're just making stuff, but then we have to sort of support ourselves in a way, make things fun, and relax, and yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. Okay, whoever's next, go.
Alright. Yeah. So as Zumbra said, the SRC community, I guess we'll go with little town, hamlet, whatever you want to call it. It's a blast to be part of because it's been almost a year, not quite a year now, but almost a year. And through this, I met a lot of the people I wouldn't have normally talked to, I guess, since I'm not much of a talker, as you could probably tell by the other podcast I was in. But yeah, you get to meet people that, I don't know, they've definitely helped me along. Like before Ruby, before SRC, I was kind of ambivalent on like what a few topics and honestly my sexuality, but these people have helped me out a lot. So yeah. Next person.
I was kind of I was arguing with my phone. So Zumbra, did you talk about fan art at all?
I did not, but you can go ahead.
All right. Well, I was also going to add to the community making thing that we've managed to be popular enough that we have fan art, which is really cool to me. Because, like, I know we've talked about it before in our various podcasts, and we frequently post or reblog it on our official professionally page. So it's just really cool that we get fan art of things. And in our Skype chat, we're all still kind of gushing about it. Great, spelled GR8 because she's a Homestuck nerd. All right, Chrissy.
I'm interjecting just to say fuck you. All right, now going back on mute. I'm sorry, but just fuck you. How dare you?
Okay,
Chrissy.
how is that Homestuck? Plenty of people's, but anyway.
Fuck you.
Anyway, the point is, we do, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. It's gonna be a year in October since we started officially. Officially, I believe we started in January, but we all got together of October of last year, or we officially started in December, something like that. But the point is, we all got together in October, so it's gonna be an anniversary soon, and it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting to see that we've actually stuck to it this long. A lot of projects sort of die, but somehow we've kept the hype train running, and I find that really, really great. Like, yeah, we're gonna make a cake probably or something. I'll do something to. We're gonna turn 1 year old. Oh my god! We need to do a birthday party.
Oh my god, yeah, we should all have like a birthday, and everybody who knows should like.
Wait, Dory.
Oh shit! Did I not?
Ciara's
She
King
can
has-
keep going.
I was
Shut
just
up!
like, I wasn't really gonna like. I was just gonna say everybody should make us stuff. That's all I was gonna say. I had nothing more to contribute to that.
Okay, apparently we do need to make it slightly more lenient than no talking
Fuck
at
you
all.
guys.
Well, I feel like the only issue with talking like the way Dory was doing is that it usually ends up becoming a 15-minute spiel. So maybe we put like a 2-minute cap.
I'm gonna go on a 50-minute spiel about birthdays.
That's why I had like the rule that if it was like a tangent, it gets moved down as another topic, and we just go back to the original topic, which is kind of what we're doing now.
Okay,
On community.
back.
Anyway, I was just going to add that with us being a year old and the project being a year old, I still think it was hilarious. It was such a hilarious coincidence that when we released the demo back in July, that was roughly 9 months after we started. So it was literally like our baby, but now it's a year old. So I just think that that's like an interesting connection. Okay, Dory's freaking out in the chat. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Because I accidentally typed GOG and I just got through being like angry at being called Homestuck trash. God damn it. Anyway. Fuck my life.
It's okay,
I win this
Dory.
round.
We're all Homestuck.
No, alright. Just like a brief, super brief. For anybody who doesn't know, the MSPA website servers either are down or were down a little, so Gigapause might be coming to an end soon. Thank fucking Christ. Anyway, I didn't really
At the
have
same
anything
time,
to.
not, 'cause
No,
then
I
it's
mean.
over.
King.
Anyway,
sorry.
on just the coincidence that the demo dropped 9 months after the original concept. Oh, I'm literally just about to say conception, aren't I? Fucking. Anyway,
Premiere.
the premiere. No, premiere and demo are still kind of the same thing. I mean, it was fuck it,
Like,
premiere. It's better. It's better than
I
conception.
don't know.
It as like.
The Big Bang.
Thank you. That's work. As Kimmy types in the chat, I am a proud parent of a demo and of an AU that a whole lot of people liked. There was like a comment made by someone. I'm gonna go check super quick the tag to get their name and name drop them, and everybody should follow them and be super cool to them because they're awesome.
One comment. Way to go
Shit.
for them.
Shut the fuck up. Kudozu501, who left a super, super awesome and super, super sweet comment about how they're really excited for SRC and stuff. And it was really nice to look into that and to think, yay, something that I thought about for a shitty Asklog that I don't even do anymore. It's kind of like the contrast between the baby thought design versus the evolution of this amazing project that it's become is just whenever I actually think about it for too long, I get all like weepy and emotional because A, I'm weak, and B, it's really moving to see like a whole ton of people still hyped for it, still working so hard. It's so very nice. So thank you guys, and I'm looking forward to celebrating our 1 year. Shut the fuck up, Kimmy. Our 1 year anniversary together. So I'll bring flowers. It's gonna be really gay. I guarantee it. That's me.
I don't know, Dory. People have been promising a lot of things. I have been burned too many times. I don't know if I can love again.
Chrissy, you're literally writing like 90% of the gay. You're literally writing that.
So much of the gay.
You're responsible for
Oh man, the gay.
You're responsible for the gay. And it's like
I
in
don't know.
capital letters.
Am I though? Am I really?
Yes!
If you take the gay that is Summer Rose Court, I'm okay, Zumbra, you go, because you're actually CRing.
I was going to interject briefly and say Chrissy is also responsible for the enabler that she did not write.
She is though.
You know what? Fuck you guys. Fuck all of you guys.
It's so great.
You knew we were
Your
going to
icon
do
is-
this.
You know, your icon is still like yang, double like flipping off everybody. So when you're like, fuck you guys, it's like, ha! It's funny because she's flipping us off.
It's funny because I'm literally Yang.
Literally, though.
I didn't even go into that one scene with the thought of enabler. I was just making Yang a good sister, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Aw, Yang, you're such an enabler." Dang it, Chrissy.
Well, I mean, I kind
Okay.
of set it up. I mean,
What?
sorry.
All the
Oh, and just because this is actually important, so CR for this. People who have expressed concern about the enabler, the reason it's right there in the very first act is so that if you don't want to see it anymore, you can shut it down. It's like that's going to be your first and only encounter with it. It'll be either, hey, you want to enable, and you can say yes, and you know that will occur in the future, or you can say no, and that'll shut it down real quick, and you won't have to deal with that anymore. So yeah. Don't worry, it's not going to be enabler 100% of the time.
It's like where in Act 1, enabler is the Titanic, and that one decision is the iceberg. And either you hit the iceberg and everyone dies, or you dodge it and everyone's safe.
Everyone
I'm not
drowns
sure
in
which choice is which in that
incest.
situation.
Okay, you either sink it or you let it fly by. Okay, that's the analogy.
So either it sinks or it turns into a boat plane and just flies off into the starry night.
SRC may not be all enabler, but it is 100% gay as hell.
Yeah.
True.
If they only-
There's like no path that you go down where it's not going to be where it's not going to be gay. At least like even subtext, it's going to be super gay. So you can't escape it. Sorry.
We're
Okay,
going
we'll
to push
find
our
out.
homosexual agenda.
Gay is for everyone.
The gay is coming from inside the house.
Gay, bless us, everyone.
Queerly beloved, we are gathered here today.
There we go.
Lovely.
I'm so glad The Simpsons put that in one of their episodes.
All right.
Okay.
Let's. Oh boy.
Oh lord.
Oh
I feel like I
boy.
should just get my CR in hit. Okay, Kemi beat me to the first CR.
We all have a lot to
That
say on
I
this
did.
subject.
I know, that's why I was just gonna get mine in right there, so I could just. Okay, Kemi.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh lord.
So my big thing with the Jean hate right now, and every bit of Jean hate that's ever happened ever, is just the sheer volume of people who want to defend his actions by being like, well, he's a teenager, baffles me because it's like, well, you know, teenagers shouldn't get away with that shitty behavior anyway, and he's a fictional fucking character that you can make him do anything you want. Like, stop trying to make this creepy fuck who won't leave a girl who specifically said no many, many times alone. You know, don't try to make him sympathetic because you're trying to, you know, have a show about girl power. I don't need his man pain. You should be encouraging girls to, like, stand their ground in situations like this, not trying to guilt them. I just have so much hatred for Jean that wasn't there before his fucking arc. Like, oh man, it's so bad. I have so much rage. Somebody take it. Somebody take it.
Here, I'll take the rage. I'll take it. Oh god. I totally agree. Like, when I first met Jean, at first, I was when just the clips of him vomiting, I was like, oh my gosh, this might be a dorky, stupid boy baby. I was like quietly approving because at the time I thought, well, maybe he doesn't have any battle, you know, potential, but he might have, you know, like some fucking he might have some intelligence. Ooh, that was mean. Anyway, then the whole fucking bully arc happened, and I was waiting for them to do something different. Like, maybe Jean was, like, not going to be all like, I'm a macho man. I have muscles and dick power and well, that's stupid bullshit. I was waiting for them to subvert that in some way. But nope, they went straight down that route. So I was like, oh, great. So I literally could not give... John meant, like, nothing to me at that point. I was like, whatever. I don't care if you live, if you die. I actually hope you just get written on a bus somewhere. You know, bye, John, have fun on the moon. You know, I was waiting for that. But, you know, of course it didn't happen. And the whole part of him going to ask Weiss to the dance with the whole rose, I foolishly thought, hey, maybe it's going to be different. Maybe Weiss is just going to be like, hey, if you keep doing that, I'm going to cut off your tongue with my gigantic, well, not with gigantic, wow. I'm going to cut off your tongue with my stiletto heels and, yeah, keep away from me. And it was going to be, you know, or they were just not going to play it up to sympathy, right? That's what I was thinking. Maybe this whole arc would be, would show that, you know, that yes, that pursuing a girl or pursuing anyone after they say no every single time and just continuing to ignore that no because you think, oh, if I whittle them down enough, if I keep being persistent, I will get rewarded with them. Completely dehumanizing, you know, that other person as if they are something to be won if you try hard enough. No, it's framed in sympathy. Weiss is framed as like this cold-hearted little bitch who can't see how great Jean really is. And, you know, and don't get me started on the whole fucking out-of-character bullshit that they're putting Weiss through just so that the other head writer can get his Mary Sue in. Whew, alright,
I swear to God, if you're anything like, oh man, Weiss just doesn't understand how wonderful you are, I will fucking cut everyone.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel at this point. Basically, how I feel about Jean Arc is I want to take a huge shit in his mouth. Not even for a sexy way. I want him to choke on my shit and die.
Wow.
Alright, that's very explicit, but I'm very angry about that. Ed, somebody else should
look at some of her Tumblr posts and you will get that as well.
Legit. Someone take the rage stick, because I'm done.
All right, then. So,
done.
damn.
Yeah.
But, yeah, most of the things I would say have already been said, but just because the thing that's most recently happened is the most recent episode, obviously, because that's how time works. But, so, like, on that, I don't feel as bad about the most recent episode as the previous ones, because I don't feel like it was pushing Weiss and John as much as the others, and while it was definitely made to make us sympathize with John, I don't think this specific one was as worse about Weiss, and I'll get back to that in a minute, but I feel like with the making us sympathize with John is a clear setup for Jean and Pyrrha next week, and while this does sound like I'm defending it, I also still just don't want to see any more Jean. It's a show called Ruby, I want to see Team Ruby, and if you're going to split the time with Team Juniper, put in the rest of Team Juniper. Pyrrha's gone less than a quarter of the time Jean has, and Nora and Ren have gotten absolutely nothing. Jean has gotten all the time, and nothing good has come of it. And kind of like with the Weiss part of that also, like just, and this is kind of a side discussion, so I don't know if we want to get into that and spit deeply now, but like a lot of the posts have been about how it's out of character for her, but also you can look at how she acted towards Pyrrha before Emerald Forest and Port, where she's essentially acting nicely to them because she's manipulating them and trying to use them to her advantage. And we know that Jean has been bothering her so much, not just this season, presumably since the start of the show. It could just be wishful thinking on my part, but she could be using Neptune as a way to get Jean off her back. That could just be wishful thinking. And even if that's not what she's doing, it seems to have worked, because Jean has been down in the dumps.
I guess, like, on that sort of thing, though, is what's even if that's what they're doing with Weiss, the point is that Weiss shouldn't have to do that. They're writing Jean
totally,
completely,
totally,
and it's just bad writing. Bad writing.
I was gonna make a joke with Kemi wanting to interject, but I can't make the joke anymore. And sort of like with what Tucker was saying, I'm not actually what I'm about to say. I am not defending him because he is quite frustrating and all that good stuff. But I saw something on Tumblr that I thought was kind of an interesting point, is that I didn't see it, but apparently people are all on Jean like, he's such a friend zoner. He's definitely thinking he's in the friend zone, blah, blah, blah. But then someone was like, no, he's not doing that, because your traditional friend zoner will immediately blame the girl on why she's not dating him, where we specifically saw in the last episode that, well, I'll mention that in a second, but another part of Jean not being in the friend zone is that he's saying it's because he's a terrible person and that he's nowhere near good enough for Weiss, which, if he can figure that much out, I don't know why he keeps trying. But like Dory said, he's not even in the friend zone. Weiss just doesn't care. Weiss actually gives negative craps about Jean. Like, okay, I think that's it. I just thought that was a mildly interesting point. Okay, yeah, Chrissy, go.
Yeah, and I agree. I make jokes about John being in the friend zone and whatever, but he isn't actually acting super duper vile. He's acting annoying, and I'm really frustrated with the plot of of the guy persisting after a girl, or anyone persisting after anyone, after they've made it clear that they're just not interested. They don't owe you an explanation, and if you keep going after that, it's not romantic at all. It's really creepy, and it's kind of upsetting is what it is. I don't think he's vile, because obviously he's a protagonist, and we know that he's actually a good guy. But again, this is fiction. We know he's a good guy, and I just wish we could stop a little bit, because in the first season it was, John was kind of the, loser. He showed up to be our in to the show. He showed up to be almost like our avatar. Is this person. Yeah, we know that he's a good guy, but Weiss wouldn't in that situation. But anyway, going on, he was that person that shows up that doesn't know anything. And, anyway, John was like our self-insert. He's the person who shows up who doesn't know anything, and he can be like, what's that? And, someone can explain it to him, and through him explain it to us, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know what aura is or any of that. So they were using him in a very, I don't know if it's creative, it's been done before, but it's definitely, a solid way to use a character. And he was our exposition magnet, and it was okay. He was going to be learning about the world, and he was going to be slowly getting better. And I thought that, well, again, I don't want to say what I thought versus what we got, because obviously what you think is going to happen is probably, the reality's never ever going to live up to what you hope will happen in anything on it. I mean, that sounds really pessimistic, but like with a show like this, you can just wait and see what happens. But I just did not in my wildest dreams anticipate not liking John this much. I liked him at first, and then his character arc changed. Everyone sort of has a role to play, and his was to gradually get better so that we could watch, wow, look at how far he's come. But they jumped the gun, I feel. They tried to make him too important too fast, and it left a lot of people sort of like, what? what's going on? And on top of that, they didn't play up the strength that they were giving to us. And this isn't me projecting. They were literally saying, Jon is not strong, he's not this, he's not that, but he's a leader. So why aren't they playing up what they gave to us? Why aren't they playing up the fact that he's a leader, he's a tactician? His biggest problem is just being honest with his teammates, and he's still not being quite as honest as though he's getting better at that. And instead of doing that, instead of showing, how he could have grown, they just went the absolute weakest route and had him have this masculine pissing contest with Cardan. And again, sorry, I'm rambling now, but anyway, I'll wrap this up. And in the second volume, almost every single scene with him has been about Weiss. And it's just annoying. I don't like love triangles. I don't like complicated romance plots. There are other ways to have interpersonal drama between characters, and if you're gonna have a romance drama, at least do it between two characters who like each other. Just watching, it's just, I can't relate to this, and I think, honestly, that people who relate to Jon, I'm honestly beginning to think that it's just like, I start to judge them a little bit. And, God, okay, and again, like someone else said, if we're gonna split the time evenly between Juniper and Ruby, where's the rest of Juniper? Even Pyrrha's, story, which I was really glad to hear, Pyrrha's story had to be told to us through Mercury and Cinder, while Jon, again, got to tell us how he felt. How come Pyrrha hasn't told us how she felt or what she's going through? Stuff like that really bugs me. And we still don't know anything about Jon or Ren, Ren or Nora, but yeah. I guess that's it. That's all my feelings. Yeah.
Go for it, King.
He's boring. That's
Okay,
it.
well,
Jon is boring. I don't hate him.
Okay,
yeah, he's just boring.
Okay,
Go.
well, while I also have CR, I sort of hinted at this earlier, but if someone wants to interject with CR, the next person is supposed to say, yes, you can go ahead, or no, wait. So, War, can I go?
Yeah, you didn't interject. You were before me. That's fine.
Okay. Now I have to remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, about how, sort of, again, along the lines with, if we get Jean, we should get Juniper, and, actually see him improve as a tactician. I feel like I've mentioned this before, I think it would be really cool to have, a fighting class where we actually see, Ruby versus Juniper, and we actually see, Jean trying to be a good leader to his team, and, Ruby doing her thing, and, see them doing Arcos and Renora attacks instead of Bumblebee and Checkmate and all that. But, if we actually saw Jean as the leader, as the J in Juniper instead of Jean Arc, that would definitely be more interesting, and definitely giving Ren and Nora more screen time, because this is this episode had more screen time with Ren than the entire first volume did, because the most screen time you got with in the beginning of the one episode, him fighting the Viper, and then you got nothing else. And then all we got this time was just him sitting there awkwardly wanting to put clothes on, and Jean wasn't letting him. And I just had one last thing, and I'm still enormously in love with the fact that the first 100% serious line that Nora said, because I think it was Tasha, one of our artists, she commented that Nora was pretty serious when she said, "We'll break his legs." But the first 100% serious line Nora has said was one one of the heaviest things. Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay, so who's going next, Dory?
Super quick, just about the whole fact that we don't see much of Ren. I do think that maybe that's just the fact that maybe Monty doesn't want to voice much of Ren just because he already does so much. So maybe he's just very, very tired, and he's like, can I just grunt a little? There we go. There's my contribution. And then just walks off. Just
the happy side.
Maybe that.
Yeah,
Alright,
I thought
that's
that's what Dory was
And he
going
also
for.
doesn't want to join accusations of Carrie and Miles, being kind of Mary Sue's. A lot of people already accuse Monty of being a Mary Sue with Ren, so those have died down.
That's such bullshit. Because it's not abilities that make a Mary Sue, it's their contributions to plot. Like Jean, Mary Sue. I'm so sorry. Neptune, Mary Sue.
Yeah, it's how the plot wraps. Sorry, go on.
Okay, sorry, that's it.
That was CR. War, go next.
We'll move that on to later as a different topic.
Possibly, yes. I just I was with a lot of other people about John. Like, I was interested to seeing him being raised as a tactician, and for like how they progressed with him, I kind of made an analogy. And whatever, I'll share it. So you're at a restaurant and you've heard good things about the steak. Sorry to any vegans, but you heard some very good things about the steak, and you go in, you order the steak. But then the waiter comes out and brings you the fish and like, do you not have the steak? And he's like, no, we have the steak, but that comes later. Why don't you try this first? And you look at the fish and you're like, it looks good and I might try it some other time, but no, I'm not really feeling it right now. But instead of just taking away the sample, the waiter then proceeds to force it down your throat. So now you have bad associations with the restaurant, the waiter, and the fish. And I feel that kind of summarizes how I feel about John right now. Like, maybe if the fish had been served in a different manner, I would have liked it more. As like we went with if he had been the tactician route. I never said steakhouse story. I said restaurant.
But to fit this analogy, it is a steakhouse. We were promised Ruby, a show about 4 girls. Here, have this fish.
John's not even a boy anymore. He's a fish.
No, it's
A fish with fascist
going to the steakhouse. It's going to the steakhouse and then getting a plate of noodles.
Actually, one of my favorite dishes is like you have salmon and then you fry it and then you have like noodles with this cream sauce and it's really good. But anyway. But yeah, they're basically forcing John down our people's throats, bones and all. And yeah, we wanted the steak. We wanted the tenderloin. I'm sorry.
Okay, Tucker, before we start deviating immensely again.
Yeah, and again, I kind of wouldn't mind so much if the time was shared more. Like, we know all about John's motivations and his aspirations. We know nothing about why Ren and Nora are at Beacon, why they want to be hunters. And like, yeah, sure, Ren doesn't talk much, but we know that Nora's not a quiet character. There's no excuse for her not to be talking about her life or anything. And I think there was something else I was going to say too, but now I forget what it was, so whatever.
Okay, well, I'm going to take CR. Keeping back to that steakhouse analogy. Because I mean, you know, again, and then you go to the restaurant and you're like, you know, they told us, I mean, we were kind of advertised steak. You know, it's great that they serve fish, but that's really not what, you know, I mean, if they want to do fish, let's do fish. And then some people get mad at you, like, what do you have against fish? And I'm like, nothing. I just don't like it shoved down my throat when I wanted a steak. But also, we still don't know, even after that Pyrrha episode, what's her motivation? We still don't know her motivation. What's up with that? It's just, come on, Pyrrha. Next episode better be all about you. Even half of her story was wrapped up in how sad she is that John doesn't like her. And it's just like, everything's about John. And that's, going on to our next subject, real quick, that's what makes a Mary Sue. Not how powerful they are, not how important they are, not how much they do, and their sparkly magic, whatever. Because then, you know, Yang's a Mary Sue. And, you know.
Preach.
But a Mary Sue is how much does the narrative bend to suit that character, their whims, and their motives. Because we know about Yang's motives, and she's fighting for it. And we know about Blake's motives, and she's fighting for it. All the other characters are fighting for what they want. John seems to just sort of get everything that he wants. It's very, you know, suspicious when you consider that his writer is, you know, his voice actor is the writer. It's just, you know, I hate to pull out that card because everyone wants to pull out that card, and I resisted it, but it's starting to look that way. Yeah.
Whoa.
And I'm done. Who has CR next?
Wait, Tucker.
It's me, Tucker, then Dory, but
Damn.
considering that Tucker remembered what he wanted and I've forgotten what I want to say, Tucker, go.
Okay, so wrap it up. Tucker, go.
Well, if you've forgotten what you were going to say, then that's fine. Otherwise, I could have waited. But one of the things that I was going to say before was that, like, with the last episode, if it wasn't for Yang, Nora would have been the best part of that episode, and she only had 2 lines. What the fuck? But anyway, but on this topic, a couple things on Mary Sue, because also like on one thing, I don't think that Neptune is Mary Sue for Carrie, because I remember them talking in interviews that Carrie basically auditioned for voice acting multiple characters, and that Neptune was one that had already been created. So he wasn't like built around for Carrie like Jean was for Miles.
Yeah.
But with Miles, it's definitely a thing,
Oh,
and
what the hell?
I think Miles is one of my favorite people at RT as a person, but as a writer, like the Jean arc happened at like the same time in RVB season 11. He was putting Felix in the series, which is like, you know, you kind of keep doing this. You need to focus on the story you're writing and not be kidding yourself in the story. And that season was also disappointing in general, but, you know. But I do like Miles, but have other people write too, I guess.
Yeah, I agree about Neptune. I'm not including him in this. I don't think Neptune is a Mary Sue at this point because, again, I saw that too. So I'm leaving him out of this. Carrie so far is still golden, but Miles is, like, I guess, under suspicion. It would be just cool if, like, someone else would just be like, hasn't anyone else noticed this? Doesn't anyone else go over the scripts? I don't know. Continuity really... A lack of continuity really bothers me, and that's another issue that I won't get into because Dory has CR.
I'm just gonna use this CR to retract my statement about Neptune being a Mary Sue, because I actually didn't know that Carrie actually had to audition. That was not something I was aware of, and I made that statement out of anger, and just because we haven't seen the rest of Sun's team. The point of all of this is just... I wish that there was a lady writing on the writing Ruby. I feel like maybe at least on the team or something, because just I feel like the whole sympathy for Jean's man pain, oh, I didn't get the girl, could have been completely avoided, especially with that White Rose bullshit. That's it for me.
Just real quick, I do want to say there are ladies on the team, and quite a few, but not on the writing team as far as I'm aware.
That's what I
okay.
meant. Just like
I do know that there, yeah.
I know that there's a ton, there's like ladies on like the animation team and stuff, but I don't, to my knowledge at this moment in time, I don't think there's any ladies on the writing team. So
their head of art, I believe, is a lady, so that's pretty cool. Congrats, art team.
Super awesome. Art powers go. Anyway, art solidarity. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Later.
I think I was just going to try and make sure everyone had said their say and ask if we can repost the topics because I've forgotten all the topics. But now I have something else to say. That it's funny that we mentioned that, like, as far as we know, none of the ladies are on the writing team. And I think it's funny because I just kind of glanced at our writing team and I'm pretty sure Daniel's just an editor. So I think I'm the only guy on our writing team. So... unless someone else identifies as guy, and then I'm incredibly sorry.
He's not just the editor. He's the editor.
Like, Zumbra is the...
backbone of our company.
Oh my god, I was going to say something mean, and then I lost words.
Anyway, so instead of mean, let's talk to our next subject, which is sprite making.
Yes, bueno.
Anybody in our art team want to talk about sprites? Wally, you haven't said anything. You want to say something about art? Go, CR Wally, go. I choose you.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm not very good at talking about the whole sprite stuff. I'm only working on Blake. That's all I'm doing.
The best Blake.
Yeah, the hottest Blake.
Seriously. Holy
I wouldn't say that, but thank you.
I would.
It's okay if you can't say it. We'll all say it for you.
Yeah, we're all saying it.
Okay, well, that's very flattering of you, but I don't even know what to say anything about sprite making besides it's difficult for me, because I don't like having so many layers on stuff, and there's just so many layers when I'm working on sprites.
All the layers.
All of them.
Every layer.
Yeah, that's about it. Oh, but I guess with the sprite I'm working on, Blake, since she has freaking cat ears, I'm making the move with her whatever expression she uses, just because I like to overachieve at stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, and the tail moves too. Yeah, that's right. And she has freaking kitty ear whiskers or whatever.
Ear whiskers.
Yeah.
Yay! It's better than yours. That's right.
Okay. The tail fits in the Sprite.
Honestly, Wally, I'm not that great with words either. I get all flustered and I just except when I'm typing. Then I can look at what I'm saying. But otherwise, it's
Yeah. Words and me don't work so well, because, yeah.
What is English?
It's not my language.
Kemi, I believe you are next.
Okay. I don't know what specifics you were discussing, like what you want to discuss for sprite making. All I can say is that it's definitely been interesting, because it's definitely one of the oh god, I'm just so aggravated, to be honest, by Yang in particular, because I when you work on the template, this is something that Zumbra posted about. The Yang sprite compared to everyone else, huge. And I was working on the template. I thought it would be fine. I didn't expect Yang to be Hulk Hogan next to the mathletes. And it's just hilarious and accurate because Yang is so much bigger than most of the people in SRC, but it's tweaking shit with sprites is just outrageous because little tiny things will show up as just wrong when you put it into the program. Like Zumbra and I had to try and fix the fire that catches on Yang's hair when she's talking about panties, is it? Ursa skull panties, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we had to fix that fire, and it sounds like it shouldn't have been a big issue, but Zumbra and I went through 3 or 4 different scenarios in which to fix it, and it was, and not even to mention, I haven't had to change Yang's outfit yet. Dory has done all of Weiss's outfits, which blows my mind. She has so many, and I can't imagine being done with that already. That just blows my mind. I haven't had to do new clothes for Yang yet, but it's a process because you want to keep, the expressions for everything in case you need it, later. So I've got 7 million layers on this thing. Sprites are harder than they seem, children. Yeah. Sprites are hard. Art is suffering.
That's why it's called painting.
Chrissy.
Chrissy, go home.
I am home.
Oh, man.
Go to bed. Go to Kemi's house.
I would love to.
It would be awesome. We would have a fucking wonderful time.
I would buy so many drinks.
Okay,
but
so Wally, guys. Wally, go.
Yeah, thank you. About the layer thing again, I have a problem with numbers and layers. I don't like seeing the numbers on my layers, so I have to name them. And they normally start off very sweet, regular things like Blake's eyes, anger, Blake's this, and then as it gets more and more, I get more pissed off, and I'm just Blake's fucking tail doing this thing.
Excellent.
And it's just, I don't know, it irks me, and that's my 2 cents about the layers.
Creative process.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to draw new clothes on these sprites at some point. Wally.
I already have the sprite. I already have the sprite base all colored, so I don't care. I can draw clothes.
Wally's prepared.
I'm prepared and done.
Beautiful.
King, go for it.
Okay, well, I was actually gonna ask what Chrissy is asking. Is everyone done with Sprite talk, or?
I could ramble forever, but I don't think I should. I don't know if Dory had anything to say. So, if when Dory comes back, if they want to go back to that topic, we definitely can. Oh, but what do you know? Hey!
Speak of the
You
devil.
talk and I am summoned. If we're still on the sprite topic, super quick, all I have to say is it's a lot of fun. And imagine little air quotes around the word fun, because it's really not all that fun. It's actually quite difficult if you're not, cause what I did on, what I found out to make my life easier is to kind of nab expressions as I draw them. Like, I draw expressions on a different layer, nab them, save them all in like this one gigantic folder of expressions. And then it all just becomes a little game of copy and paste. Just like, yep. She's smiling. She's flipping the bird. She's sticking her tongue out. She's blah, blah, blah. She's this, she's that. Boom. But I only did that for Ruby. So, and I'm thinking about redoing the Weiss sprites that I did because I did them like 1,000,005 years ago. So I'm going to make the shitlord even more. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. You know what? No, I'm not redoing them. No, fuck.
Never mind.
Just leave it the same.
Oh, fuck. No, I'm gonna have to redo all of that bullshit. Fuck my life. God, Weiss has so many outfits, because what I do is I have a gigantic folder for a character. Like my Ruby sprite folder has like 5 different subfolders, and it's for her ball outfit. It's for her crown outfit. It's for her crownless outfit. It's for her desert outfit, which is my personal favorite and will never be seen again after Act 1, which makes me a sad Dory.
Make that
anyway,
pajamas.
I do have her I actually do have pajam jams made. You laugh and you're like, DLC, but I do have like sprites for that made just in case. Just for future shenanigans
moments.
Because I mean, come on. Like, yeah, for people with maximum overdrive thirst. Anyway, basically it's all about organization. It's all about organization and keeping your shit together. And unfortunately, I didn't find that out until Ruby, and I'd already done Glinda and Pyrrha and John, and no, I didn't do John. I'm sorry, MJ's doing John, and Ozpin and the feed.
MJ's doing Ozpin too.
Yeah, but I did like
supplier.
The feed supplier.
Oh yeah, oh my god, the feed supplier.
On a whole nother level, making side characters that are surprisingly infinitely more hot than the actual main characters, A+. They don't have any impact on the story except to look pretty, and that's what's important.
God.
Anyway, I'm done with that, so we can move on to a different topic if everybody's done talking about that.
Like we said in one of the last podcasts, like, the feed supplier lady is like Nurse Joy. Her other main role is to be the one person of color in mayonnaise land.
Oh no.
No, that's really, you really shouldn't have said that. That's kind of really, no, that's not what we're going for at all. There is no mayonnaise. The only mayonnaise land exists is Weiss's plane, and even
That's what I
Weiss.
was talking about.
Alright, oh man.
Why didn't you, like, communicate that better then? I just made a shit lord out of myself.
Oh man.
You're the one who spearheaded that when everyone in the Ruby fandom was giving everyone different skin colors, you were like, except Weiss is always mayonnaise.
Well, I can't help it if the fact that mayonnaise actually tastes really disgusting, but strangely I'm addicted to it. So, I mean, that pretty much sums up my feelings for Weiss on a whole. Like, you're so disgusting. Shoves more into my gross mouth. Alright, I'm done. I'm done.
Shopping.
Done.
Okay.
On that subject, I'm gonna grab CR real quick and say, well, why do you hate John? He's making mistakes, but you don't hate Weiss and Blake and Yang, and they've made mistakes because they suffer for their mistakes and they learn from it and change.
Preach.
Just saying, just throwing that out there.
They face consequences. Like, Blake
Thank you.
faces consequences for being a loner piece of shit. Weiss faces... What?
And sorry, just real quick, I'm still on CR. Blake's whole story is a story of redemption, and I find that infinitely more appealing than, people don't see that I'm really a great guy, even though I don't demonstrate it in any way. Blake's whole story is, I fucked up really, really, really bad, and I'm trying to do everything I can now to fix it to the point of destroying myself. And that's the difference.
Oh man, Blake.
My
heart.
My dokies.
The Doki Dokis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I had one last point on the sprite making, and then I was going to start on the next topic, because sort of like what Dory was talking about earlier, I still find it hilarious that when I would scroll back to her sprites to get them for Photoshop shenanigans, on like so many of the posts about Weiss's sprites, Dory was yelling, "Why does she have so many outfits? She's not even the main character." And and I was going to skip over, and I was going to talk about dance dates we want, because I kind of want to see Glinda dancing with someone. I'm not sure who, but I want to see Glinda having a dance.
Cinder is who?
Ah, yes.
Oh my god. Like Ozpin.
Blaze died.
Like, all I can think of now is just like Ozpin walks up and he's like, "Miss Goodwish, may I have this dance?" And then Cinder just cuts right in between them, is like, "Can I have this dance?"
Oh,
Actually, I'm not asking. I'm demanding it, Professor.
oh my god.
Slam dunks myself in the
No.
garbage. Oh.
I love Cinder because she's evil and you're supposed to hate her a bit, so.
Yeah.
She's acting like someone you're supposed to hate. Wow.
No,
Because she's
but
a villain.
it's so hard to hate her though, because it's like, I'm so intimidating
She's
and
such a
threatening.
good villain.
I've got this agenda that you don't even know about that supposedly requires metric fuck tons of dust. But
And
first, let me take a selfie. I've got exams coming up. I can't take over the world. Ah!
Oh my god.
Except I don't really have exams because I'm 20.
Tomorrow.
Okay, people had
Okay.
CR.
God, what were we just talking? Oh yeah, that I was gonna say that, like, as much as we harp on like Miles and them for Jean being a self-insert and not always focusing on who we think they should focus on, I will give them props in that I actually really like the villains. Like, I know they're the villains, and I know I'm not really like supposed to like them, but they're such good villains. Like, Roman is a terrible person, but he's such a cool terrible person. And
And, you know,
Emerald
he's
is a terrible
intentionally
person.
terrible.
But
Sorry.
they're all terrible people, but they're so awesome about it. I feel like Mercury can end up being kind of cool, but yeah, right now he just hasn't done a ton. I'm angry because he's the only useful hetero. Because Jean and Neptune are useless. Ren is pretty useful, but Mercury's the only one who's killed a guy. Dang it, Mercury.
Okay, I'm gonna take
Okay.
CR real quick.
Okay, yeah, I'm rambling again.
Just to say that Torchwick is a terrible person, but that's how he's being written. You know, when you're unintentionally terrible, I'm gonna keep talking about John Arc all day. I'm sorry. He's intentionally terrible. You know, they have done a good job with that character. So he's a terrible person, but a good character. Yeah. And about villains, I thought that Cinder was a lot more intimidating before we saw her in a schoolgirl outfit. I'm really, really sorry. It doesn't work for her as it works for Ruby. I still think Ruby's, you know, boss as fuck, and everyone else. But then Cinder was like, it was so jarring. It was like, what are you doing? You have to run to class? Is that what you're doing? You gonna run with toast in your mouth? Huh, Cinder? You're so cute sewing a dress for your girlfriend? Is that what you're doing, Cinder? You're so cute.
It's like a I hope Senpai notices me circle. Emerald hopes Cinder will notice her. Cinder hopes Glinda will notice her. Glinda wants to quit. Just quit jobs. Like
Poor Glinda.
Just counting down.
Circle then.
Just like counting down until
And I
her
can
retirement
retire.
kicks in. Just like, come on. Sorry. I just wanted to say that funny. That's it. That's all I
Go,
wanted.
King, go.
See, I get CR and then I get interrupted and I forget what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, with Cinder in her school uniform, I still think of that one photo set someone made. I cannot remember who, but it was like when Ruby first meets Cinder and she's like, "You don't look like a student here. I'm totally a student." And then Ruby's like, "Yeah, a student who can legally drink." I still find that hilarious. All right, I'm done. We did.
Wasn't the original topic dance dates? And
And then
we ended
someone
up.
mentioned Cinder, and we ended up
Well,
on Cinder.
yeah, you said who would dance with Glinda, and I was like, who the fuck else, yo? But anyway.
I think Ruby asking Glinda to dance would be adorable. That was my thought.
That would be grounds to go to jail.
No, that was when I thought Ozpin was going to ask Ruby to dance. I was like, Ozpin, no.
I glitched out for a second. What happened?
We were talking about how easily we got distracted, and I thought Ruby dancing with Glinda would be adorable.
Oh, that would be super cute. I think it would be cute for her to dance. I'm going to grab CR if nobody has it to talk about dancing.
No one does right now, so it's all yours.
Yay! Okay. I thought it would have been such a great touch if, since Team Ruby was the one who really wanted Blake to go to the dance, that they were the ones who would dance with her. And it was and they wanted her to go because they were worried about her, and they wanted her to have a good time, and no ulterior motives or anything like that. Just a team building exercise. That would have been so cute. But no, Yang's
Still more dance.
Glinda, I guess.
There's another episode of dance.
Anyone who has CR next, go.
Me? That just reminded me that there's like a tiny part of me that's like kind of disappointed that there wasn't a scene after them beating Roman. I thought for sure there was going to be like a scene where like Glinda was yelling at Team Ruby about like, what were you doing out there? You all almost got killed. You almost got all these other people killed. And of course, Ozpin would just be in the background like, man, those finishing moves were so cool. All right, Kemi's up.
Okay, so back to the topic of dance, because that's where we headed. It started out really nice. Like, I was so super pumped that we had, a Yang and Blake bonding moment, because we fucking get none of those because we're too busy dealing with Jean Arc and his man pain. Anyway, I was so super pumped that we had some partner bonding and that it was like this big deal that Yang made out of saving a dance for Blake, and that Blake made a big deal out of Yang having claimed her first dance. And then we see it for like 2 fucking seconds, these people who are supposed to be friends. Like, we see this big meaningful dance that they have saved for each other, totally blown over, so that we can see, Blake with Monkey Boy. And it was just really disappointing because I would have loved to have seen Team Ruby just go together as friends, team bonding, all this stuff like Chrissy said. And it's just
everyone making out during the slow dance. I'm sorry.
I just wish that something that the two of them put such value on, even if it's just as friends, like even if it's just as really fantastic friends. We saw 2 seconds of it, and that's not what I fucking signed up for when I started watching the show. I didn't sign up for Monkey Boy to come in and not even care so much about Blake's well-being that she was resting enough to go to the dance, cared that they were going together. Like, that's so shitty. I'm so mad at him because I feel like he could be super cool, and it just isn't. It.
What was that?
Chrissy,
are you asking for CR?
Yeah, sorry. I can't be asked to fix a typo. I don't know. I was really also bummed out by that, Kimmy, as you said, but I don't want to rag on Sun because I think he's actually genuinely a good guy. And I don't mind Sun Blake because, again, they do actually seem to like each other. I'm mad we got ripped out of the Bumblebee dance for Sun and Blake, but I don't hate Sun.
My big thing with I don't even hate Sun. I think he's really cool. It's the way that these men are being written. Like, Sun has really been just as bad as been just as intrusive as Jean in a much different way, because Blake has been like, yes, I accept you into my life, whereas Weiss is like, Jean, stay the fuck away from me. But he's still been very intrusive, and it's not hate as much as it's disappointment, because Sun started out really, really cool, but he either doesn't take Blake's struggle with White Fang and her past with White Fang seriously, or he's just too stupid to realize when he should stop being an asshole and really take something seriously. Either is, an acceptable answer. He might just be too dense to really catch on to when he should stop joking. But, my problem is, again, that he's not really... The first time we saw him take any consequence for shoving himself into Blake's affairs, when she's made it very clear she would really like to, handle this on her own, despite how unhealthy that is, or with her team. The only repercussion he saw was that Blake, told him that she thought he would be more, understanding of her struggle with this all. And that didn't even stick with him. It's the way they're being written, and it really bothers me that none of the guys who behave in ways that are kind of shitty are seeing any repercussions for behaving in the way they behave, and that really bugs me.
Yeah, I can see that too. But at the same time, I do want to sort of examine my own bias, because when you say, being intrusive and shoving himself into Blake's life, isn't that... I mean, of course, we're sympathetic to Yang, but think about how people would have reacted, especially me, if Sun... I did? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you cut.
We can hear you now, but you cut out before anything.
You started, and then there was a blank, and then you said Yang sympathizing with...
Oh, okay, well, I'm going to start over. Just edit that out later, I guess. I'm sorry. I just want to examine my own bias for a moment, because I'm trying to, talking about Sun being intrusive, I'm trying to imagine how, isn't what Yang did to get Blake to go to the ball super intrusive? She shoves her, she disrespects her a bit. I mean, we know that her heart was in the right place, but imagine how much the fandom would have exploded with hate for Sun if Sun had been the one to do all that. Although there is something to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yang was out of line.
Absolutely. She was definitely out of line. And, the laser pointer was pretty fucking awful.
I kind of thought that was hilarious. I understand from a meta point of view, it's like, oh, you're being racist to Faunus, but I just think it's rule of funny in this case. I don't
think it was racist.
It was more like
Kind of
casual, like you don't really realize it, I guess.
I didn't even feel the racism so much as I felt like she really should have approached Blake in a more adult way about something so serious.
I disagree. I thought it was excellent. It was one of my favorite parts of the episode. Although, in retrospect, I imagine, what if Blake thought it was a sniper bee?
Oh, God. Poor Blake.
And that's why she was so fucking pissed. That was my
Or somebody being legitimately racist instead of Yang being an asshole.
Yeah, she's like, who the fuck is pointing this laser pointer? I'm gonna find them and I'm gonna fuck them up, is how I saw that.
But my thing with Yang was with Sun, and all that stuff, if he had done that, absolutely there would have been backlash. And with Yang, I feel like it was one of the... It's hard to explain in that I feel like it was almost some sort of exchange, you know what I mean? Like, she was like, look, I've put this really, really personal part that probably Ruby doesn't even remember about their life out in the open, to try and get you to, fucking admit that you need to take a break. I think the pushing was too much in any context and in any light, way too much. But my big thing is it's just exactly whereas Yang is taking Blake's past seriously and her desire to find answers seriously, Sun has continuously made a joke about Blake having been part of a cult or that sort of thing. And I feel like the difference is that if Sun was willing to open up as much and was willing to take Blake seriously, as opposed to is she just, being Blakey, then, I would probably have had less of an issue with Sun trying to interject to be like, hey, you need to fucking relax. But Sun's not showing any sort of, I guess, empathy, really, for Blake at all.
Yeah, he's kind of made it clear so far. Even Blake herself is like, I thought you would understand, but obviously you don't. when he tries to ask her out to the dance, it makes it really clear that they're two different kinds of fondness. And to borrow from the really heavy oppression metaphors already in the show, Sun is in the closet almost. Not really. Blake is in the closet, but she used to be out, and Sun is out, and he just doesn't want to admit that things are as bad as they are. She's like, oh, it's not that bad. That's other people's problem. And Blake is like, no, it's been really, really bad. Maybe you haven't been through the same things I have because you're from Vacuo, I guess. But it's obvious that they're not communicating on the same level that Yang and Blake are. They're not supporting each other, I don't feel.
Right, and that's nothing bad against Sun, like if he just doesn't understand. I don't think Sun's a bad guy. I just think he's doing shitty things. Like he really seems to be like he really seems to care about Blake, and he really seems to like her, and they actually do get along despite Blake's pretty much constant like did you really just do what you just did sort of thing. But he's just doing shitty things. Like, he just doesn't seem to grasp that, like, wow, this is a serious situation that me trying to make her laugh isn't going to get us out of. And I feel like he just needs to grasp that it's more serious than, weren't you in a cult once? I
want Blake to, sort of confront him a bit about his, attitude. Be like, how is this not a serious deal to you? The cops threw a rock at you, son. I mean, and why, first of all, getting on that, why the fuck did he stow away in the first place?
I brought that up so long ago.
Why did he stow away?
I still really want there to be a scene where his team is like, son, we had a ship that was going to take us here. Why did you feel the need to go to a different ship?
Breaking the law for the fun of it.
I feel like, especially with what we're talking about now, I feel like Sun is more like, I kind of want to say live in the moment, sort of. Like, he just kind of wants to go out there and do the thing. He doesn't really want to sit there and figure out what could go wrong, what can't go wrong, or, I say this as nicely as I can. There aren't a whole ton of gears turning in his head at all times. So, all right. Did we have anything else? Okay, were we back on dance dates and then we were on...
We were on dance dates. Does anyone else have anything to say about dance dates?
I think we moved to episode talk. I think that was the thing.
No, we were talking about dance dates. And
wow, we got way off topic.
So, yeah, it escalated. But
because we were all like, why is it okay for Yang to push... Well, it wasn't okay for Yang to push Blake around. Although I can't talk because I wrote a fic where she punches Blake in the kidneys.
Yang definitely went too far, but they do seem to be supporting each other better. And I just want more partner interaction. I just want more of the girls hanging out.
Oh, that's it. It's because they've been, I guess, partners for a while, and I guess we've already have this sort of established that they've been partners for a while, and Yang is doing what she thinks is, gonna help Blake snap out of it because she knows her a little better than Sun does.
Yeah. Mama Bear Yang.
Someone brought up a good point in the chat that Tuxin was on his way to Vacuo as well. So considering that probably explains Sun's carefree attitude because he didn't grow up, experiencing as much discrimination as Blake did. So, there's hints that Vacuo might be more faunus friendly. And Kingo?
Okay, well, real quick, that just reminded me of something funny where I said back in episode 2 where Weiss was where Jean wanted to play for Weiss, and Weiss was like, I'm not going to put the good citizens of Vacuo in your hands. All I could think of was, who's not one of those citizens? Tuxin. And then I felt bad for it. But
I'm still sad that Tuxin is dead. That was low. I miss Tuxin and his beautiful Bara voice.
I wish he was still there, my hot dad headcanon.
Oh no.
He was so beautiful and I loved him so much.
I'm also still really bummed out that someone on Tumblr posted back then, they were like, so everyone knew he was moving to Vacuo, so who even knows how long it's going to be before someone goes to his shop? And I'm like, no. But, how are we on time before I start trying to start another topic? 117.
If we don't have any more things to discuss, this might actually be a good place to wrap it up and sign out.
Well, I wanted to talk about one more thing because
Is it Pyrrha?
no, I said what I wanted CR for, and you all just kept talking.
Oh.
It's because I fell in love, or I don't know what part of it I fell in love with, but I thoroughly loved Yang's backstory. Like, it told us so much about stuff we've been wondering about. It gave us new information. Like, I think it was like her mom, Summer Rose, Crow, and her dad were all on
Called
the
it,
same
by the way.
team. That was like, oh my god. I heard that part, and I kind of had, oh, wait, what? What's going on?
Nothing. Keep going.
Oh. And I loved the art style that was going on during that scene. Like, I loved the, like, I can't exactly describe it. It's sort of like it's animated, but it's not animated. Where, like, it was, like, the watercolor and then only, like, certain parts were chalky. That's a good way to say it. But, like, and then I want to know more about Crow now. Like, I really wanted to know about Crow since he got, like, hinted at only, like, 3 times. But now that we have more information on Crow, even if it's just, like, 2 more things, I need Crow. Okay. Zumbra apparently had CR, I thought. Okay, I think Dory had it next.
I did. I just wanted to say that I totally called that. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say called, because we did know from a tweet from Monty that that Ruby and Yang were half sisters, and that Summer Rose was Ruby's mother. So we all it's just natural to think that, oh, they have the same dad but 2 different moms. Ergo, Summer Rose, Yang's hot mom, and a hot dad all got together one night, and the results are in, and they're also hot.
God, George.
They all got together on the same night. Oh, Lord.
No, okay.
That must have been fun.
No, all right. No, but I am firmly of the opinion that it wasn't a shitty love triangle, and this is in my dreams because we all know it was a shitty love triangle because that's what Ruby is all about nowadays, shitty love triangles. But it was, it was nice to be like, yes, I knew that, I was happy to have the confirmation in that my headcanon of Summer Rose and Yang's mom being on the same Beacon team was a real thing. I am sad that Blake and Lysis weren't also on the same team, because Team Rose, Team Hot Mom. No, who said anything? I didn't say that. Anyway,
Team Hot Mom.
Team Hot Mom. Why couldn't we have had that? But anyway,
well, we got Team Hot Dad, Team Hot Moms, Team Hot Uncle.
True. All right, that's it for me.
So I just wanted to say really quick that it's a really good idea that they named we named the AU Summer Rose Court, because now that we know that Summer Rose is the mother, when people start to Google for Ruby Summer Rose, they're going to find Summer Rose Court.
Wow, that's actually kind of like, I want to say calculating, but it's more like, but in a positive
almost
context.
Like planned it.
Yeah, like,
you mean
that's
like coincidental?
No, it's like brilliant marketing. Like, wow, that's actually really clever.
Okay, if anyone
like
asks,
unintentionally clever.
That was the plan from the beginning, if anyone asks.
Yeah. Oh, but CR about Team Hot Mom. Dory didn't actually get around to saying this because she got distracted, but I'm of the same opinion as Dory, that instead of a shitty love triangle like we're currently having, Summer Rose, Yang's mom, and their dad were in a beautiful, happy threesome relationship, and they were all happy and had the babies together or whatever. And then Summer Rose and their dad were both really sad when their girlfriend left them.
Joke.
So that's still sad, actually. But at least it's not a shitty love triangle.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that's it.
God, but losing your partner.
They're only like 2 years apart, so it had to have been something like that. I don't know.
Right, Kemi, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm
All
sorry,
right.
Kemi.
I was very pleased to learn more about Yang. That was my big opinion of the day, because God, we didn't know a whole lot about Yang at all, other than that she's 1, a badass, and 2, fucking pun master supreme. Yeah, but we didn't know anything about anyone other than Jean is really what I'm trying to say. But I loved learning about Yang, and more importantly, I loved, you know, it was just nice to see that it's something that it's deeper than, hey, have you seen my mother? Because at this point, it's something that she's actually almost killed Ruby about, like, over. And Ruby is, like, the most important person to her ever. So it's, like, this whole huge, deep thing. And, like, oh, my God, it's beautiful. It's so
I know. She loves Ruby so much.
She loves Ruby so much. And it's just, like, it's one of these things where I'm just like, if semblance just sort of appears based on who you are, her semblance is literally, if I have to protect somebody in that situation again, even if I'm hurt, I'll still be able to get up and protect them, and that just makes me hurt so much.
I don't think that's it, though. I think hers is just born from the amount of suffering she has. You know, that saying, that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yes,
Like, literally,
Also,
her semblance.
I just love everything about her. And can we talk for a moment about how fucking strong this girl has to be, that she's carrying a stereo, like, as if it's like a puppy, and then putting it down? Like,
Gently sign out the baby.
it blows my mind, because that's like natural strength. Like, oh my God.
Now, I actually have to start, drop the bass. She gently set down the bass. But I actually have to go soon, so I'm going to sign out preemptively. It was super great talking to you guys again, and I can't wait to see you again in 2 weeks for more, or I see you every day, but I can't wait to talk to y'all again in 2 weeks for our next podcast. And this is Dextrin signing out. Bye-bye.
And that's also my cue to get going. So this is War. Here's Mark. See y'all later.
I feel like this is kind of a natural stopping point, so let Zumbra have a minute to recuperate for his next podcast.
Yeah, this is a good stopping point. I actually have to sign out myself, so...
Oh, wait,
no,
Tucker
Tucker,
has
go,
one
go,
last
go.
thing.
Go, Tucker.
Speak.
If I could say one thing before we go. Throughout this podcast, we've been pretty critical overall. I'd like to say, at least in my opinion, we kind of have to be most critical about the things that we like or that we love. Because if we don't make it known what we don't like, the people making them won't know what's a problem and what they might need to fix in the future. So we do actually really love this show and everything about it, but we want it to be better than it has been so far. And that's it.
That's good advice.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, people
so,
start signing out.
All right, Wally, go first.
Okay, this is Wally, signing out. Bye.
I want to go next. This is Zumbra. It was nice being here. I'll see you all later.
And this is Dory, signing out. I've got pizza to eat. Later, nerds.
This is Kemi, signing out.
This is King.
Tucker.
Oh, well. Tucker.
Okay, this is Tucker signing out, and just so you know, every time that my mic's been off, I've been playing guitar this whole time, so see ya sometime in the future.
Then I guess we know his mic works. And this is King signing out. How do I sign out on this thing?